Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guide 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray edition of Tim Burton's Big Fish. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guide 365. Okay, Big Fish is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. As you can see, I have a slipcover edition. There aren't any exclusives or steelbooks for this particular release. Now, as far as the film itself, I always liked Big Fish. I feel that Tim Burton kind of matured as a filmmaker with this particular release. It actually has a lot of the familiar Tim Burton staples and elements, but it's a little bit more restrained. I know we go back to Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Batman, and that's, I would say, some would argue, one of Tim Burton's more defining films. But Big Fish, I think, stands on its own. It has some great set pieces, and I think the characters are actually really awesome. There's some couple choice acting moments from Billy Crudup I'm not quite behind, even though I like him as an actor. I do feel that Albert Finney, Jessica Lange, and Ewan McGregor, of course, all really do a great job in here. But overall, there's a lot of emotion behind this film, and it works for me. And I think visually, it's also very beautiful to look at. I would say it's probably mid-tier Tim Burton film for me personally, but it's still very enjoyable and definitely worth checking out. Okay, we're going to talk about the picture quality and audio in just a moment, but first let's do a quick unboxing. We have the 4K Blu-ray edition of Big Fish with slipcover. I like the cover art. I think they chose wisely with this one. And then we have the back, and then the spine, and then interior. And a little bit of artwork, always like that. So yeah, very good looking presentation from Sony. Now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. Big Fish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has a 1:8:5:1 aspect ratio, native 4K resolution, remastered in 4K with HDR10 for the grading. Now, with this being shot on film, of course, grain is going to be readily visible throughout the movie. I think it looks pretty organic and nice and filmic. I would say it's a medium layer of density. I did not detect any DNR or anything applied here. As for the HDR10 grading, I feel Sony did a wonderful job on this particular 4K release. This movie has a lot of inherently colorful elements to it, mostly in the form of when Edward Bloom is talking about his past in the form of stories. There's a lot of lushness to the color that really stands out here. I will say a couple scenes to note in particular is when Edward is standing in the field of daffodils, the circus, the town of Spectre, all those reds, blues, and greens really come across very well. I don't think it looks too outlandish. I think it looks not natural, reserved, but very appropriate for the 4K HDR. Textures and detail also look good. There's a little bit of softness here and there, but that's more filmmaker intent than any kind of limitation. I think overall it has a nice bump up in quality. Black levels and shadow detail look particularly rich and deep. I will say when Edward is making his way through the spooky forest, the town of Spectre, and other nighttime scenes are also rendered very well. Big Fish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a Dolby Atmos audio mix. Now, this is not going to be a bombastic soundtrack. It's not that type of movie, but what it does well with, I feel, are environmental and atmospheric effects. It has a nice, good, dynamic range to it, everything from music to, once again, atmosphere, and I think it all works very well and it blends together nicely. With this being a very dialogue-heavy driven movie, conversations in film with characters as well as narration by Albert Finney and Ewan McGregor come across very clear. The front channels, they handle a lot of the activity and they're a little bit subtle, but they're definitely there and they make their presence known. The mid-level speakers and the rear speakers, it's all about music and the atmosphere. There's plenty to enjoy here. And the height channels, I feel they're more complementary. I didn't really detect a lot of, I would say, discrete channel activity, but particular scenes like when Carl the Giant is emerging from the cave, it fills the entire surround sound environment. It actually startled me. I was not expecting it, but it sounds really good. The LFE channel is appropriately subtle. This is not a boomy kind of a soundtrack. It does pop up when it needs to, but it keeps itself mostly in the background. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Big Fish on 4K Blu-ray an A-. I think this is a nice upgrade over the standard Blu-ray. The HDR really brings out a lot of the colorful highlights in the film, and I think black levels and shadow detail win out. This is a good upgrade. It's not going to be anything reference quality, but I think overall you should enjoy what you see. For the audio presentation, I'm going to give this one an A- as well. The Dolby Atmos relies a lot on the dialogue, environmental, and atmosphere, And Danny Elfman's score has a lot going for it here. There's a lot of good energy to this track. It's not going to be demo worthy, but I think for the movie that it is, it definitely works. So that is my review of Big Fish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. If you're interested in picking this one up for yourself, I will go ahead and leave an Amazon link in the comments section, but I also want to hear from you if you've watched it already. What did you think of the 4K disc presentation? In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.